Love can be the most beautiful thing in the world. It is supposed to be safe, healing, a place where you find comfort, trust, and support. But what if the person you trust the most, the one who kisses you goodnight, holds your hand through hard times, and promises forever is not who they say they are? What if the love of your life is actually your worst nightmare? This is not a fictional story. This is not a psychological thriller from the cinema. This is real life. This is the true story of women who woke up one day and realized they were married to evil. The year is 2025, but the pain still lingers from crimes that go far beyond betrayal. These are stories of control, manipulation, physical abuse, psychological torture, and in the most chilling cases, murder. Stories that begin with romance, but end in the most horrific ways imaginable. This episode, Married to Evil, explores how love turned lethal and why no one saw it coming until it was too late. Let us begin with the chilling case of Angela Harmon, a bright, warm-hearted teacher from South Carolina. Everyone who knew Angela described her as optimistic, gentle, and deeply passionate about helping kids. She met her husband, David Harmon, at a charity gala. He was charming, successful, and a respected financial advisor. Within a year, they were married. Friends said they had never seen Angela so happy, but the nightmare started shortly after the honeymoon. At first, it was subtle. He would question her outfits, criticize her tone, tell her she was too emotional. Slowly, he isolated her, cutting her off from friends and family under the guise of protecting their marriage. By the second year, Angela was a shadow of her former self. She stopped smiling. She lost weight. She barely spoke. No one knew the full extent of the abuse until she vanished in 2023. David told police she had gone for a walk and never returned. He played the part of the grieving husband perfectly. Tears, public statements, candlelight vigils. But behind the scenes, detectives were noticing cracks in his story. Security footage showed him loading heavy bags into his SUV the night she disappeared. A search warrant revealed traces of Angela's blood in their basement beneath a newly installed carpet. 3 months later, her remains were found buried in a shallow grave 60 miles away. David Harmon was arrested, charged, and later convicted of her murder. Prosecutors revealed years of abuse, financial control. Surveillance cameras were installed without her knowledge. Threats, physical beatings, and a premeditated plan to kill her when he sensed she might leave. Angela's story is not just a tragedy. It is a warning, because evil does not always come with a mask or a weapon. Sometimes it comes with flowers, good manners, and a warm smile. Now let us talk about Monica Reyes, a nurse from Albuquerque, New Mexico. She married Luis Delgado, a man she had known since high school. Everyone thought they were soulmates. They had 3 children, a house in the suburbs, a dog, the American dream. But behind closed doors, Luis had a dark secret. He was running an underground drug operation. He used Monica's nursing license to write fake prescriptions. When she found out and threatened to leave, the abuse escalated. Monica documented bruises. She reported him to the police, but each time, she would drop the charges afraid of what he might do to her kids. One night in 2024, after an argument, Luis set fire to their garage with Monica inside. She suffered third-degree burns over 60% of her body. She survived, but barely. Luis was arrested and charged with attempted murder, child endangerment, and drug trafficking. Monica's testimony in court was heart-wrenching. She said, "I did not realize I was married to a monster until it was almost too late. I thought love would fix it. I thought if I stayed, he would change, but he never changed. He just got better at hiding it. It is hard to accept, but this is not rare." According to data from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in 4 women experience severe intimate partner violence in their lifetime. Many of them are married. Many of them do not even realize they are being abused because abuse is not always about punches. It can be about power, about fear, about silence. In 2025, more women are stepping forward to share their stories. Stories of marriages that looked perfect on the outside, but were cages on the inside. Stories of gaslighting where victims are made to question their own sanity. Stories of financial control where every dollar is monitored. Stories of stalking, threats, and being trapped with someone who promised love but delivered terror. One of the most terrifying cases emerged just this year. Casey Linden, a 29-year-old artist from Portland, Oregon, was found dead in her studio. Her husband, Ethan, claimed she had taken her own life, but friends did not buy it. Casey had been planning a solo exhibition. She had signed a lease for her own apartment. She was leaving Ethan, and he knew it. When police examined Casey's laptop, they found journal entries, daily logs of emotional abuse, photos of bruises, audio clips of Ethan screaming, threatening, and destroying her paintings. He had also installed spyware on her phone to track her every move. Medical examiners later revealed Casey's wounds were not self-inflicted. She had defensive injuries. Ethan was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. In the courtroom, the prosecution read one of Casey's final journal entries. It said, "I do not want to die. I just want to live without fear. I want to breathe without asking for permission." That single sentence moved the jury to tears, and it echoed around the world. You might be asking, how does this happen? How do intelligent, independent women end up trapped with men who hurt them? The answer is slow, calculated erosion. It starts with compliments, then control, then criticism. The abuser does not come in swinging. He comes in loving, attentive, and even protective. He builds trust, and once you are dependent, he starts to dismantle you bit by bit. By the time the victim realizes what is happening, she is isolated, afraid, and often financially stuck. This is why it is so hard to leave. And why do so many women stay until it is too late? In 2025, there are now more tools and helplines than ever. GPS-enabled alert systems, secret online communities, legal aid programs, but still abusers are adapting. They are using smart home devices to monitor movements, hidden apps to read private messages, and legal systems that often fail to act in time. One survivor, who asked to remain anonymous, shared her story in a podcast this year. She said, "I was married for 7 years. He never hit me, but he made me believe I was worthless, that no one would love me but him, that if I left, I would have nothing. And for a while, I believed him, until I almost lost myself." That is what evil does when it wears a wedding ring. It hides in plain sight. The message of this documentary is not just to shock or horrify. It is to raise awareness. Because evil can be charming. It can be educated. It can go to work every day, pay bills, post pictures on social media, and still go home and torture someone silently. If you are watching this and it feels too familiar, please know this: love does not hurt. Love does not trap. Love does not isolate, threaten, or destroy. If you feel afraid in your relationship, afraid to speak, to move, to leave, it is not love. It is control, and there is help available. We remember Angela, Monica, Casey, and so many others, not just as victims, but as warriors whose stories are saving lives now. You are not weak for staying. You are not stupid for falling in love, but you are brave when you decide to choose yourself, when you decide to speak, when you choose freedom. Evil can wear many faces, and sometimes it sleeps in your bed, but it does not have to win. Thank you for watching this episode of Married to Evil. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please seek help. The links in the description can guide you to resources in your country. You are not alone. You never were. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe to Dark Case Diaries for more gripping true crime content. Until next time, stay aware, stay strong, and remember, real love does not destroy, it protects. This was Married to Evil, and we will keep telling these stories until silence is no longer an option.